Good morning. Dr. Cohen and Professor Mahbubani are here with us. They got delayed in their press briefings at ICSR, so they're in the building and they'll be on stage momentarily. Dr. Cohen was introduced to us yesterday by Ashank, so I'm not going to go through all of that again. And suffice it to say that it's a very rare honor and privilege for Pan IIT to host two of the foremost India watchers, so to speak, representing the US or the American think tank view from Brookings, Dr. Cohen, and Professor Mahbubani, who represents the Asian view from the National University of Singapore. And some of you might have actually read the press coverage this morning on Dr. Cohen's views, and it's a sign that he is a very well respected voice, not just in the US but also all over the world, especially India, on his thoughts and opinions on strategic issues. Dean Mahbubani has a huge, very impressive and a very diverse resume. So let me try to do justice to it in a minute. He is right now the senior dean at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy in the National University of Singapore, a position that he has held with distinction since August of 2004. He has served as Singapore's ambassador to the United Nations from 1984 to 1989, and then again from 1998 to 2004. So Ambassador Mahbubani has been a voice in the United Nations and in foreign policy and strategic circles for very many years. From January 2001 to May 2002, he was the president of the United Nations Security Council. As you know, the presidency of the United Nations Security Council rotates amongst member states, and it's indeed a great honor to have someone who's actually chaired the highest security policy making body in the world, the United Nations Security Council, amongst us today. Dean Mahbubani has written several books, and he's known for his clarity of thought from an Asian perspective. Very few Asian scholars have projected the Asian point of view as successfully as Dean Mahbubani. His best-known books are Can Asians Think? That was a landmark publication. And Beyond the Age of Innocence, Rebuilding Trust Between America and the World is another great book which he's authored. And The New Asian Hemisphere, The Irresistible Shift of the Global Power to the East. These three books define the way in which the world has now started listening to Asia's voice in strategic thinking. Dean Mahbubani had received a master's degree in philosophy in 1976 from Dalhousie University in Canada, and he has served as a fellow at the Center for International Affairs at Harvard University 1991 through 92, and has received the Foreign Policy Association Medal in New York in June 2004. An extraordinarily distinguished career in formal policy making as an ambassador, as I had mentioned, to the United Nations, as a chair of the United Nations Security Council, a distinguished author, a distinguished academic, and like Professor Cohen mentioned, Professor Cohen has actually been at the Lee Kuan Yew School in his distinguished career as well. So they know each other professionally over the last several decades. It's a wonderful occasion to have this as one of our two closing keynotes. This will be followed by Professor Amartya Sen's keynote. And we hope to get their perspectives on India's strategic imperatives as we go forward into the 21st century. I welcome Dean Mahbubani and Professor Stephen Cohen to the stage. It's going to be a duologue. Dean Mahbubani is going to kick it off with his remarks and address, and then Professor Cohen will follow, and then we will have a dialogue between them, and then of course we have more than enough time for your questions.